Imagine this. It's your son's birthday weekend. You've planned everything: meals, movies, time with friends, and then just 2 days before, a phone call changes it all. What would you do? Stick around, because this little family moment turned into something a bit bigger than expected. Imagine this. It's your son's birthday weekend. You've planned everything: meals, movies, time with friends, and then, just 2 days before, a phone call changes it all. What would you do? Stick around, because this little family moment turned into something a bit bigger than expected. So here's how it all started. It was my husband's birthday this past Saturday, and we had everything lined up weeks ahead of time. If you've ever been a parent, you know how rare it is to get a full day, let alone an entire evening, without a baby in tow. Our son is just an infant, sweet little guy, but as you can imagine, he takes up all the time and energy we have. For this birthday, we wanted to do something special for my husband. He works hard, he's an amazing dad, and honestly, we just needed that adult time together. So we mapped it out carefully: lunch with a few close friends, a nice movie in the afternoon, and a quiet dinner reservation at 7 p.m. No bottles in the diaper bag, no rushing home for naps, just us. We had asked my mother-in-law, my husband's mom, if she could watch our son overnight so we could fully enjoy the day. She lives about 50 minutes away, and when we brought it up a few weeks earlier, she was happy to help. The plan was simple. She would come to our house Saturday morning, pick up the baby, and we'd go on with our plans. My husband and I were both grateful. Honestly, having her involved like this meant a lot, especially to him. So with that settled, we made our reservations and even bought movie tickets ahead of time. I booked a sitter for the dog, made sure everything was packed and ready for our son's overnight stay, and we counted down the days. We were genuinely looking forward to it. You know, sometimes as parents, you almost forget what it feels like to have an entire day that's just about the two of you. Then Thursday night rolls around, 2 days before the big day. It's about 8 p.m. We're getting ready for bed when the phone rings. It's my mother-in-law. I hand the phone to my husband, but he's helping settle the baby, so I pick up and put her on speaker so he can hear too. And that's when the surprise hits us. She casually asks, "So, what time are you dropping the baby off?" We both kind of blink at each other. What? We thought she was coming here, like we had agreed weeks ago. We remind her of the plan, and that's when she tells us her car's been acting up, and she didn't think we'd be comfortable with her driving the baby. Of course, we understood. If the car wasn't safe, absolutely, we wouldn't want that either. But by now, everything was set up around the original plan. Our day was packed. There wasn't really time for us to drive an hour out and back again, not without losing half the day we'd carefully arranged. And that's where things started to unravel. So now it's Thursday night. We hang up the phone and just sit there for a minute, looking at each other, both thinking the same thing. What do we do now? Because here's the thing. We weren't upset at her for the car trouble, not at all. Life happens, and if her car wasn't reliable, we didn't want her driving it, especially not with our baby in the back seat. No argument there. But what threw us was the timing. 2 days before, and now suddenly, we had to figure out a plan B. And if you've ever had an infant, you know, it's not like you can just wing it. Babies come with gear. There's bottles, diapers, clothes, sleep routines. It's a whole production. The other part was, our day was already packed. We'd made these plans weeks ago. There really wasn't a free window for us to drive the baby an hour away, then an hour back. That would have eaten up most of the afternoon, and honestly, by the time we'd be done, it would have felt pointless to even try to celebrate, and the whole reason we'd set this up with my mother-in-law coming to us was so the day would flow without that extra stress. So after talking it through, we decided to call my parents. They live about the same distance away, just under an hour, and thankfully they were free. More importantly, they were happy to help. No guilt, no drama, just a simple, "Of course, we'll come get him and you two go enjoy yourselves." We felt a wave of relief. Crisis averted, right? My husband texted his mum shortly after to let her know the new plan. He told her not to worry, that we appreciated her trying, and that once her car was fixed, we'd absolutely plan another weekend for her to spend time with our son. No big deal, or so we thought. Well, It turned out to be a very big deal to her. Almost immediately, she stopped responding. No, okay, no, thanks for understanding, nothing, just silence. And since then, she hasn't spoken to us at all, not one word. And it didn't stop there. Through the grapevine, we started hearing that she was upset, furious even. She said we were being dramatic, that it was ridiculous to not just bring the baby ourselves, and apparently she was especially mad at me. Why? Because I answered my husband's phone. That's it. She knew he was there. He was busy helping the baby at the time, and I even put her on speaker so we were both listening. But somehow that simple thing seemed to set her off even more. And the truth is, this isn't the first time. Now here's where things get a little more complicated. Like I said, this wasn't the first time we'd had tension like this with my mother-in-law. She's a complicated person. Loving, yes, but also emotional. And when she feels slighted, even by something small, she tends to hold on to it. This whole situation with the phone, that wasn't really about me answering a call. It was about feeling left out, or maybe losing a sense of control. And on top of that, there's always been this undercurrent, this feeling that she believes we favor my parents. Now, let me be very clear here. We don't favor anyone. We love both sides of the family. But there's one big difference. My parents are simply more available. They're retired. They live nearby. And when we need help, they're quick to offer and easygoing about it. There's no guilt trips, no drama, no scorekeeping. Just, sure, what do you need? My mother-in-law, on the other hand, still works part-time. And even when she is free, there's always a bit of an emotional layer attached. If we ask for help and she can't do it, she sometimes acts like we've disappointed her. And if we don't ask, she feels excluded. It's a tough line to walk. And honestly, that's part of why we had been looking forward to this weekend so much. We had all agreed on the plan. She was going to help, and it felt like a great way to include her and give her some special time with her grandson. It wasn't about choosing one side of the family over another. It was about what worked for this particular weekend. But when her car became an issue and we had to pivot, well, that's when old patterns started creeping in. The silence, the anger, the feeling that somehow we had done something wrong, even though we were trying to be understanding and flexible. And you know, from a parent's perspective, when you're juggling a baby, work, household stuff, it's exhausting to manage that kind of emotional minefield on top of everything else. Sometimes, you just need people around you who help make life easier, not harder. We weren't trying to exclude her. We weren't trying to be rude. We were just two tired parents, trying to salvage a birthday celebration that had been planned for weeks. But now it feels like we're in this weird Cold War. No calls, no texts, and of course, my husband is stuck in the middle. He loves his mom, but he also sees how this keeps playing out again and again. And honestly, it's making us wonder what to do next. And now, here we are, caught in this uncomfortable silence. A part of me wonders, was there really anything we could have done differently? I keep going over it in my mind. Could we have canceled the whole day? Could we have rearranged everything and driven the baby over anyway? Sure, maybe. But would that have been fair? Would that have been reasonable, after all the planning and effort we'd already put into making the weekend work for everyone? The truth is, as parents of a young child, you get so few chances to take a real break. And honestly, it's hard to explain how much those little breaks matter. They're not just about fun, they're about mental health, about staying connected to your spouse, about recharging so you can keep giving your best to your family. That's all we wanted. Not to upset anyone, not to cause drama, just a little bit of peace. But with my mother-in-law, it often feels like we're trapped in this pattern. No matter what we do, it's never quite the right thing. If we lean on my parents, it's favoritism. If we don't lean on her enough, it's exclusion. If we ask her to help but something changes, then somehow we've slighted her again. And here's the part that's hardest. My husband loves his mom. He wants her to be part of our son's life. We both do. We want our son to know all his grandparents, to have happy memories with them. But every time something like this happens, it gets harder. The tension builds, the trust erodes a little more, and the next time we think about asking her for help, well, we hesitate, not because we don't care, but because we don't want to walk into another emotional storm. And I know my husband feels caught in the middle. He tries to keep the peace, but it wears on him. He shouldn't have to constantly balance being a good son with protecting his own little family from unnecessary guilt and stress. So here we are, wondering how to move forward. Do we give her space and hope she cools off? Do we try to reach out and risk getting another wave of frustration? Do we stop asking for help altogether and then face even more accusations of keeping her away? It's a hard spot, and for now, we're choosing to step back, to focus on our little boy, our marriage, and keeping things peaceful at home. Because sometimes, when you're raising a family, you have to choose your battles. And for this one, we're hoping time will help. But still, that question lingers. Are we wrong for how we handled it? At the end of the day, family dynamics are complicated. Sometimes, no matter how careful you are, how thoughtful your intentions are, things can still go sideways. You can plan, you can communicate, but feelings don't always follow logic. And honestly, looking back on it all, we were just trying to make the best of the situation. We didn't want to disappoint anyone. We didn't want to create tension. We just wanted to celebrate a birthday, to have one simple day where we could be husband and wife again, not just mom and dad. But when it comes to relationships, especially with in-laws, sometimes those little moments snowball. One change of plans turns into a bigger thing. One misunderstanding triggers old frustrations. And now, here we are, hoping time will smooth it over. Because at the heart of it, this isn't about a birthday or a car issue. It's about the patterns that families fall into and how hard it can be to break them. And as much as we wish it could be simple, sometimes it's not. For now, we're focusing on what matters most, our little boy, our home, our peace, and hoping that with time, things with my mother-in-law will settle. We still want her involved. We still want her to have that bond with her grandson. But for now, we're choosing calm, choosing patience, choosing what's healthiest for our little family. And hey, if you've made it this far, thanks for listening. Now, let me ask you, because I know so many of you out there have been in similar spots. Have you ever had a family plan go sideways like this? Have you had to choose between sticking to your plans or keeping the peace? If so, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And if you feel like sharing, drop a quick yes in the comments. No big explanation needed, just a simple yes if this hits close to home for you. I'll be reading every single one, because trust me, we're all figuring this family stuff out, one day at a time. Thanks again for being here, and I'll talk to you in the next one.